First was the day I met Josh.
I'm Josh.
I'm Iris. And the second, the day I killed him.
What did you think of Companion? I can't hear you, Big Bob. Let's communicate through the comments instead, eh?
Last night was a lot.
You had fun though, right?
Of course I did, Beep-Boop.
This is one of those films that's best experienced with as little prior knowledge as possible. The less you know, the better. But without giving anything away, Companion starts with a seemingly straightforward setup. A couple on a little getaway with friends, tension bubbling beneath the surface with some Russian guy played incredibly well by Rupert Friend, and a growing sense that something isn't quite right.
Oh, you know, I have fingers in many pots.
While the premise itself isn't entirely original, Companion plays with familiar sci-fi and horror ideas in an engaging way to actually help it stand out above others. It leans into atmosphere and tension rather than outright scares, drawing comparisons to films like Barbarian, Don't Worry Darling, and Machina in how it unravels its secrets. That being said, I was questioning things right off the bat. The film immediately throws in small, unsettling details.
Thank you, Josh's car.
Thank you, car. Pop the trunk.
Like the car refusing to respond to Sophie Thatcher's character, while Jack Quaid just sits there unbothered. Or the fact that he's casually carrying a tiny bag up a massive hill while she's carrying 2 huge suitcases. It's little moments like these that hint early on something is off.
So when you said remote, I thought you meant like a couple miles off the highway. I didn't realize you meant edge of civilization.
If you haven't seen it yet, avoid trailers, skip detailed discussions, and just go in blank. The surprises, while not groundbreaking, are still best experienced firsthand, but for the people who have seen it or don't care about spoilers, I'll go straight into our main characters in Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher,
Please say your name.
who are at the core of the story, yet both fail of making their characters compelling.
Drive!
Drive home. Drive. Drive. Drive home. Drive home.
Quaid, despite his Hollywood lineage, continues to be a thoroughly uninspiring lead. He's serviceable in The Boys, but when it comes to movie appearances, this guy has been typecast and it's become very boring incredibly quickly. He plays nerdy boyfriend who's actually a creep, and he has a smile that feels as hollow as his screen presence.
Don't be all mopey and weird. Just remember to smile and act happy. Okay?
Then there's Sophie Thatcher, who feels like the result of putting Anya Taylor-Joy and Katie Spaney through a cinematic meat grinder. I mean, you can see the resemblance to both, yet she lacks the distinctive presence or charisma of either. The first time Thatcher came into my line of vision was in Heretic. I mean, you had Chloe East in this film as well, but she made more of an impression on me as a competent actor with more range at her disposal. Her demeanour from Heretic definitely carries over. This awkward silence where if you're on a date with her, you'd start saying any kind of shit to gauge a reaction.
Shut her down already.
Shut me down.
Fuck, Cat, Jesus Christ!
What is she talking about? Shut me down.
Nothing. Just-
Josh!
Will you excuse me?
Josh!
I mean, am I the only one? Her eyes are exactly like Anya Taylor-Joy. I think Katie Spaney aspect is probably only because of Priscilla, but for me, Sophie Thatcher feels like a Temu version of both of them. While Companion eventually justifies some of her stiffness as the story unfolds, it's not enough to shake the feeling that she's miscast. The film attempts to build tension, teasing mysteries until the end of the first act before layering everything out. It's a structure reminiscent of Barbarian, but Companion never reaches that level of effectiveness. The execution, the writing, and most crucially the casting simply don't measure up.
He was mixed up in all kinds of fucked up shit, like drugs and guns and like human trafficking.
Why did you do it?
Oh. Well,
Barbarian had leads that brought personality to their roles, whether through writing or sheer screen presence. Here we're left with Quaid's Hugh Grant-esque romantic comedy befuddled look, but really he knows inside he's a psychopath, but can't play that kind of performance. He was one of the reasons why Scream 5 did not work for me. Luke Gage delivers an amusingly exaggerated performance as an overtly flamboyant character, but when required to do more, he defaults to the same shtick. So the guy's aggression at one point gets turned to 100 from his meek 20%. Some stupidness like that. And you'd think he'd get angry. Instead, he's just violent, with the same happy vacant face. So that's my thought on the actors out the way. Now, I should go into the story, and for what it's worth, even though I've been bashing it a little bit, it's pretty good in my opinion. Like, the film mixes ideas of AI servitude, self-awareness and hidden truths, all wrapped in a retro-futuristic aesthetic that screams "Don't worry, darling." Except this time, the twist doesn't feel like an afterthought. It also has elements of Megan, particularly with its concept of undying loyalty. The love sync feature is basically Megan's obsessive protectiveness dialed up, and it leads to some great moments. One of the funniest sequences in Companion involves the robots reminiscing about the first time they met their owners. That is absolutely hilarious.
You're standing on my tail.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
Then there's a Terminator-style flex in the credits, where we see the protagonist's metallic bone structure on full display, casually waving at another robot who's stuck in the depressing monotony of serving their owner. Aesthetically, Companion takes heavy inspiration from Don't Worry Darling, the pristine, artificial perfection, the hidden cracks beneath the surface. Interestingly, DWD was originally supposed to reveal the twist much earlier, which might have made the film more engaging. But between the two, Companion is definitely the one I'd rather watch again. The Stepford Wives influence is obvious, the whole robot spouse concept is baked in the film's DNA. But where that film leaned into its eerie domestic horror, Companion builds more towards it's like a heist movie, sci-fi thriller, Black Mirror-esque.
Assumed he was in the mafia and I didn't correct you.
Of course. This is perfect. This is a perfect representation of every woman in my f***ing life.
In terms of films, it's closer to Ex Machina, especially in how it explores the machine's growing awareness of its confinement and the steps it takes to break free. In some ways, it feels like a distant successor to Ex Machina. Companion also has a brief flirtation with Lucy-style superintelligence, but it doesn't commit to it. When a protagonist's intelligence maxes out, she mostly just talks to herself. No mind-bending reality manipulation, no cosmic transcendence, just some personal reflection. Not quite Lucy-level absurdity, but not particularly gripping either. Storytelling-wise, there was a well-thought-out structure, although not massively inspiring. The first act of Companion plays with suspense. Once you've seen the film, the mystery is gone, and that tension doesn't hold up on rewatch. Barbarian, on the other hand, keeps its first act engaging no matter how many times you revisit it. Thanks to strong performances that add layers, Companion doesn't have that luxury. The second act shifts into a cat and mouse chase, which, while following some pretty standard genre beats, throws in some fun sci-fi touches, like the customizability of the Companion app. It's one of the film's cooler ideas, showing just how tailored and personal these AI relationships can be. And that bit where she's in the car trying to escape from Quaid, quality stuff.
So then come back to me. Beep boop.
We can get through this. I can change. I can be a better boyfriend.
Third act is your standard fight to the finish confrontation, bringing everything to a head. It delivers the necessary payoff. But by that point, the film's biggest strengths have already played out. Where Companion excels is in the discussions it can spark. Some interesting talking points include the ethical dilemma of AI relationships. Like, if an AI is designed to love you, is that love real or just advanced programming? Ex Machina asks this in a more chilling way. The film toys with this idea of customizing a digital partner to suit your every need, raising questions about how much control is too much. Also, how much does a robot need to act human before it becomes indistinguishable from the real thing? The app-driven aspects of Companion feel like a natural extension of where we're heading with the AI-driven products. Much like Upgrade's take on automation.
Do you feel that?
Yes.
Good.
At one point, we see how dangerous it can be to tinker with AI systems without fully understanding the consequences. Much like messing with an engine when you're not a mechanic, one wrong adjustment can turn a helpful tool into something completely unpredictable or even lethal. In a world increasingly reliant on AI, Companion serves as a reminder that just because something can be modified doesn't mean it should be. But you know, guys, this is my opinion. What were your thoughts on Companion? Comment down below.